Smashed. Interior, back room of Lizzie's yoga studio. Day. Lizzie is slumped on a mattress in the dingy back room of her yoga studio, flicking through photos of her yoga training in India. The broken phone screen fractures each image. She catches her finger on the screen. A frangipani flower sits in a mug. It is the only beautiful item in the room. A scrap of paper on the wall states 158 days. Muffled soul music starts next door. Lizzie fixes herself in a tiny mirror, seeing only a fragment. She practices smiling. She peeks through the keyhole across her studio to the sunny footpath where her clients are gathering. On the footpath, moments later, Lizzie exudes a cheerful persona greeting her class. The ocean is visible in the background. Lizzie.
Hi everyone, come in, welcome. Let's wake up those bodies.
Of similar age, Yasim prepares a display in front of his vintage shop next door. He sucks in his stomach as Lizzie approaches. A luxury car is parked further along the street, but neither notices it. Lizzie. All ready for class? Yasim. Well, you promised, Yasim. Old war injury. Lizzie smiles, then enters her studio. Yasim relaxes and continues to set up his display. A few moments later, Joshua emerges from the luxury car, carrying a bouquet of flowers. He is dressed for the city in an expensive shirt, pants and shoes, and looks out of place against the casual backdrop of the shopping strip. He stares at Yasim as he approaches the footpath. Yasim. Flowers? You think this makes it all right? Joshua. What? Take it easy, mate, just joking. There is an awkward silence. You're approaching me with flowers, like we've had a lover's tiff. The joke's a dead carcass. Let's not flog it. Can I help you with something? Who buys this old crap? Anyway, excuse me while I get back to work. Yasim enters his shop. In Lizzie's studio continuously. Lizzie is standing at the front of the room. Some clients are still arranging their mats.
When you're ready, stand at the front of your mat. You all right, Barry?
Barry, in his 60s, struggles with a bandaged knee.
All good, love. Take it at your own pace and let's breathe in and breathe out.
Joshua stares through the window. Madge, an older client, notices Joshua.
Hello, sailor.
Joshua knocks on the window, wearing a charming grin. Lizzie is shocked. He enters, his shoes clunk across the floorboards. Lizzie, darling. Most of the class seemed impressed by his sophistication, but not Barry, who sums him up in a glance. Lizzie is visibly shaken. Joshua, what are you doing here? Surprise. Barry notices Lizzie's dress. I'm teaching. No problem, sexy. Won't interrupt.
No spectators, gorgeous, but you can stand in front of me if you'd like to join in. Another time, hot stuff.
The class laughs, except for Barry, who stands beside Lizzie.
All right, love. My girl's fine, old man. Tell you what, Lizzie, I'll leave now if you meet me for a few drinks and a dinner at 5:30. Deal.
The class laughs. Lizzie can barely speak.
Are you crazy, Lizzie? I'm staying at the Ocean Plaza. There's a little place on the first floor.
Joshua places the bouquet on the counter and kisses Lizzie's cheek. She recoils. He walks to the door. Joshua blows magic kiss, then leaves. Lizzie turns to hide her traumatic response, but is confronted with the bouquet on the counter. She grabs it and exits to the back room. Barry watches, concerned. Outside on the footpath, Joshua picks up a glass ornament from Yasim's display and drops it on the ground, smashing it. He walks away. Moments later, at the back of the studio, the bouquet sits face down in a bin. Lizzie is shaking violently. She bends double, gasps. She sprints on the spot, trying to burn her excess adrenaline. She takes deep breaths while tears well in her eyes. Intercut with Yasim's back room, Lizzie's back room in the afternoon. Yasim hammers a hook into the adjoining wall. He stops when he hears Lizzie's stifled sobs. He sends Lizzie a message. "Are you okay?" She responds, "I'm fine, thank you." Yasim hesitates, unsure how to help. He sends another message. "Sure?" Lizzie gulps down her sadness. Yasim messages. "Tonight's playlist. Requests?" She responds, "You decide." Yasim plays a soothing jazz track. He hangs an antique picture of the Hindu god Ganesha, the remover of obstacles, on the wall. He waits a moment, helpless, then exits. Lizzie hears his door close. She slumps deeper into her posture. A little while later in Lizzie's studio, Lizzie is crouched in front of her small clock, staring at the time, 5:20. Her mounting stress overwhelms her, so she performs star jumps, then runs on the spot. She paces the small space. When she can bear the tension no longer, she snatches the scrap stating 158 days and screws it into a ball. She empties her money from the jar and leaves. That night, in the Ocean Plaza restaurant, a small wrapped gift sits in front of Joshua beside 2 champagne glasses. A bottle cools in a bucket of ice. Joshua watches his phone. At the same time, outside in a park, Lizzie is slumped on a park bench, drinking wine from a bottle. A dishevelled homeless woman approaches her. The homeless woman sits beside her, trying to figure out what Lizzie is staring at. Lizzie.
How did he find me? Sorry, love? Turning up out of nowhere. How does that even happen? I normally come round here, love. Makes no sense.
Lizzie receives a message from Yasim. Opinion on male hair buns. Lizzie grins through her despair. She responds, undecided. Yasim sends a photo of himself with a bun and an intentionally awkward, comic expression. Lizzie laughs, despite herself. And why? To stuff up everything I've worked for? That it? Just to show me who's boss? Is that what you want, Joshua?
You're the boss, love.
Back like nothing's happened. Who told you? In the restaurant, Joshua watches Lizzie cry on his phone screen from the perspective of her phone camera. Who? Who told you I'm here, Joshua? No one knows.
You're here, love. Promise. You want me to beg you to save me? So you can make me feel like shit about myself again?
Yasim writes, I need help. Lizzie responds, what's wrong? Yasim writes, made enough dinner for whole of India. Urgent assistance required. Lizzie sobs. The homeless woman puts her arm around her. A passerby hands the women money. Lizzie considers the money, then the homeless woman crowding her, muttering. She sees her future self and panics. She gives the money to the woman, then dumps the wine in a bin. In Yasim's yard, that night, Lizzie notes the frangipani tree in Yasim's front yard. She wipes her face on her sleeve, then presses the doorbell. Moments later, in Yasim's living room, Lizzie is awkward in Yasim's space. She tries to conceal her heightened emotions, taking deep breaths. Yasim enters, carrying a glass of water. Lizzie sips between gulped tears. Yasim gestures to the sofa. Lizzie sits on the edge. Yasim waits, attentive. Lizzie paces the room. Yasim, at the risk of sounding paranoid, how did Joshua find me? Yasim shakes his head. Maybe... Do you think you should call the cops? Lizzie shakes her head. A message beeps on her phone. Lizzie catches her finger on the jagged screen. Ow! That's dangerous. It was his. As soon as I can afford a new phone, I'll dump it. Where are you? He's got a new number. Lizzie laughs derisively, then paces. What is it? Where are you? Yasim shakes his head. I block him. His number. A year of nothing, blissful nothing. Well, not blissful. A year of rebuilding myself, of hiding, moving, creating a new life. Here, the middle of nowhere. Things are just starting to... And somehow he finds me. And now he sends a message. Where are you? Do I come across as mad? Yasim shakes his head. Probably just good at hiding it. No. How do I seem? Right now, honestly. Real? Drove him round the bend, he said. Go on. You'll think I'm crazy. Yasim waits. I was on edge. Always. Felt like he was monitoring every little thing I did. Following me, or I don't know. He just seemed to know where I'd been. Who I'd been talking to. Lizzie paces the living room, jumps up and down on the spot, shaking her hands. See what happens. Can I get you something? Something's wrong? No. I'm not letting him. No. A cup of tea? Herbal? Yasim exits, and Lizzie takes deep breaths. Moments later in Yasim's kitchen, Yasim is filling the kettle when he notices Joshua's car on the street. He drives off. Yasim processes what has happened, then searches his cupboards. Moments later in the living room, Lizzie is still pacing when Yasim enters carrying an old biscuit tin. He takes her phone and places it in the tin, closing the lid. She stops. Good idea. Put it behind me. Joshua just drove off. What? He was out there. Lizzie panics. You said he gave you the phone. Lizzie nods. Is it possible he's been spying on you? What do you mean? Spyware? Through your phone. What? The tin will cut the signal. Lizzie paces again. She jogs on the spot, shaking her hands, struggling to breathe. We should call the police. Yasim hands her his phone. She shakes her head. I'll do it. And tell them what? I think my ex is spying on me through my phone? Yes. Lizzie shakes her head. Yasim's spare room. That night. Lizzie is struggling to sleep. She leaves the bedroom and paces the living room, staring at the tin. She stops. Yasim's bathroom moments later. Lizzie vomits. She washes her face and mouth over the basin. She sees herself in the mirror, unfragmented and complete. The next morning, outside the ocean foreshore, Lizzie and Yasim are walking along the footpath. They notice a commotion in front of Lizzie's studio and duck behind a car. They see Lizzie's studio window has been smashed. Joshua is talking to a couple of shop owners from the strip. Lizzie is furious. As they creep further along, they see the word slut sprayed across in red paint on the glass door. Madge and Barry arrive for class. Lizzie. Yasim? Yes? Would you lend me your phone? Moments later, on the footpath, Madge regards the graffiti disgusted, while Barry inspects the window.
Anyone call the police?
Joshua.
No point. No evidence. Don't worry, old man. I'll get onto a glazer. Anyway, Lizzie said to tell you the class is cancelled.
Lizzie and Yasim step onto the footpath. Barry takes out his phone and walks down the strip. Joshua seems agitated. His anger builds. Lizzie inspects the door. Madge puts her arm around her, but Lizzie shrugs her off, stepping towards Joshua.
Slut. So adolescent. Wouldn't you say, Yasim? Smacks of grotty teenage boys.
Slut. Who says that anymore?
Boys will be boys, having a laugh. Probably got the hots for my girl. Your girl? Mate, the only thing you own around here is your wanker-sized ego.
Joshua shoves Yasim in the chest, propelling him backwards.
Get your hands off him!
Shut up, slut.
No.
Joshua steps into Lizzie's space, towering over her. Yasim films Joshua surreptitiously on his phone. Lizzie notes his action and is emboldened, despite her trembling. Madge notes it too. I said, shut the fuck up, slut. Madge tries to conceal her shock. Lizzie stares into his eyes. No. Madge. Careful, love. Joshua.
Really?
I'm not a girl, Joshua. Or a slut. And not yours.
See what I have to put up with, hot stuff?
Madge stares back, disgusted.
Crazy bitch. See how you go alone, Lizzie. How's it working for you so far, Miss Independence? In your dump, scoffing baked beans every night. Your pathetic little stretching class. You're really in big business now, aren't you? And it'll all go to shit when you're back on the piss. You've been spying on me through the phone. That's how you found me. You've been watching everything. You're disgusting. Prove it, bitch. You won't find anything on that phone. No one will.
Lizzie stares at him, giving no ground.
You've changed, Lizzie. You're so serious now. Makes you look old and haggard. What you need is a good fucking, which you won't get from your little Indian girlfriend.
To Yasim, though staring at Lizzie.
Be careful.
She'll cry rape if you look at her sideways. Joshua turns to find a male and female police officer flanking Yasim, who is still filming the incident. Days later, outside the ocean foreshore, Lizzie and Yasim are sitting on the grass, finishing ice creams, enjoying each other's company and the magnificent view. "How's your war injury coming along?" "Oh, well, it's probably time you dealt with your demons and came to class, Yasim. I do have a war injury, you know." "Really? Sorry, I thought you were joking." "But, I'll give it a go." "Time to deal with your demons?" Yasim pulls a hammer from his backpack and hands it to Lizzie. He withdraws the biscuit tin, opens it, and removes the phone. He wraps it in a large handkerchief. Lizzie focuses, summoning her strength. And then smashes the phone.
This week's episode, Smashed, was written by Belinda Lees and read by Ruth Hayes, with music by Aaron Anderson. You can find links to his work in the description. As always, do subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes, follow us on Spotify, and check us out at thescriptdepartment.net. Thanks for listening.